Bonjour, Français 4. We are here today to review our Verbes Réfléchis. We're going to walk through everything that you learned in level 2. Oh yeah. So hopefully you still have your notes, or you're going to be taking some new ones today. Remember, this is a review. We should have learned all of this. Alright, reflexive verbs. Remember the purpose. What kind of verbs are they? The action is reflected back on the subject. And I know we have a lot of new vocabulary, but even these new vocab words, it still follows this principle. You have to have a reflexive pronoun in addition to your subject pronoun. That's the biggest difference between these verbs and normal verbs. So, what you have to remember is the reflexive pronoun goes in front of the verb. Subject, reflexive pronoun, verb. For the je form, the reflexive pronoun is me. Tu form is te. Il, elle, on. The reflexive pronoun is se. The reflexive pronoun in the nous form is nous. So we have that nous, which is very interesting and weird for our ears. In the vous form, the reflexive pronoun is vous. And then in the il plural form and the elle plural form, the reflexive pronoun is se. So in the present tense, we would conjugate the verb just like we would as if it wasn't a reflexive verb. But you just have to remember to add the pronoun. So subject pronoun, reflexive pronoun, verb. Vous vous reposez. You rest. Okay, so we have subject, reflexive pronoun, and your conjugated verb. It ends in easy. This is the present tense. Tu t'inquiètes. You worry. So we have our subject. Notice the T became an apostrophe because inquiète starts with a vowel. And inquiéter is in the tu form. It's got an es at the end. You don't really have to worry about inversion too much, but if you're going to invert a sentence, that pronoun, this guy, is going to stay here. The subject goes behind the verb. Te méfies-tu de cette fille? Now remember, the purpose of a inversion is just to ask a question and not use être. So that's all that, or est-ce, I'm sorry. So that's all that's going on here. Alright, infinitives is probably the situation that we remember the least about. And it's absolutely totally bonkers to us because the reflexive pronoun goes in front of the infinitive instead of the conjugated verb, which is what we're used to. And we have to make sure, even though the pronoun moved, it still matches the subject. So I'm going to approach the tour bus. Je vais is the I am going. Here's my reflexive pronoun in front of my infinitive. Now the subject is je, so I still need the me here. Je vais m'approcher du car. I'm going to approach the tour bus. Now here's another example. Elle voudrait se reposer. She would like to rest. She wants to rest. My reflexive pronoun is right here in front of the reflexive verb, but it matches the subject. It's important to think about what are situations where I would have an infinitive. Okay, the first one here is the future proche. Aller plus the infinitive. When you're going to do something, the near future tense. Another situation where you might see an infinitive is verbs like vouloir. We call them modal verbs. I want to do something. I am able to do something. That's pouvoir. I have to do something. Devoir. So these are different places where you might have to use an infinitive with a reflexive verb. Alright, the command form we have seen a lot of. In a positive command, the pronoun moves. You have to remember, though, the basic idea of a command, we drop the subject. So these are not going to have any subjects. We only have commands in the tu, the vous, and the nous form. So here's an example. Tais-toi. Normally, that would have been tu, te, te. So first thing that happened, we lost the tu because we have no subjects in a command. Second thing is the te, which used to be here, changed to toi and went to the end. Here's the vous form. Reposez-vous. Alright. Vous, reposez would have been the present tense. We got rid of the subject and we took the pronoun, put it at the end. The reflexive pronouns at the end. Now, the wacky thing about it is for a negative command, that pronoun comes back in front. Ne te tais pas. So here, not only did the toi moved back, but it also switched back to te, if that wasn't confusing enough. And then we have ne vous reposez pas. So the vous was here, and it moves back in front. All right, moving on to the passé composé. Follows our pattern that we are used to in the passé composé of having two parts, our helping verb and a past participle. But we have to remember, one, our helping verb for all reflexive verbs, no matter what, is être. And we have to put the reflexive pronoun right before that form of être. And we have to make agreement with the subject. So, subject, reflexive pronoun, helping verb, and then here's my past participle. And here's my agreement. She got mad. She became mad. Elle s'est fâchée. The weird thing, do not make agreement if we have some kind of direct object. So, elle s'est rappelé ses endroits favoris. She remembered all of her favorite places. Even though it's elle, we don't make agreement here because we have a direct object. So look out for that in the passé composé. Alright, for some extra practice, I've given you a verb, s'inquiéter, in the to form. What I want you to do is conjugate it in the present, in the future proche, remember that's aller plus the infinitive, in the command form, in the passé composé. Once you've done that, go back, make them all negative. So you should have 8 answers. And we'll go over them tomorrow en classe. Bonne chance. If you can think of anything in particular, whether it's infinitives or the passé composé that you struggle with the most, jot it down and we will talk about it demain. Au revoir mes amis.